Welcome to a brand new day of a Vlogmas, baby. Ba, ba, ba. Guys, like literally today, I felt like an ashtray filled with cigarette butts. Like I was not feeling good today. And I'm feeling a little bit better. I took a Advil pill, drank some soup, and I'm feeling a little better, but I'm still feeling a little nauseated. And no, I'm not pregnant. Thank you. Today I'm gonna give you my digital TBR list, okay? I have so much books on my TBR list that I'm so excited, and I feel like this would just make me feel much better as well, because it's like thinking about the books that I'm about to read. It's just I am gonna go ahead and tell you what's on my TBR. I'm really excited about that. Well, I always say that in every video, but it's because it's true. I am one that constantly have excitement over every little thing bubbling inside of me, just waiting to get out. Yeah, that's me. Anyway, let's get started. I have a book list on Amazon. I don't really do Goodreads because I actually want, when I read reviews and when I see all the information about the books that I'm thinking of having, I want them in a list where I can just easily just click to add to cart and buy, like right then and there. Liz, hold on. I don't have anything against the other platforms, but I just really love having everything on Amazon. Easy, add to cart, buy. And then also with this, you might not know this, but you can actually prioritize you can prioritize the books, like which ones you want the most to the least, and then you can share it for persons to buy you books if they want to. Isn't that amazing? I call that fab. Okay, anyways, let's get into this TBR. The first book on my list is Americana. One of my favorite YouTubers, she was reading that book in her vlog, and I was like, OMG, like the book sounds really good. And then I read the premise and the synopsis of it, and I was like, I would be really interested in it. It's about two Nigerians who are lovers, and they're separated, and one comes to America where she learns about the American culture and the society, all the cultural shock. She just learns America for what it is and through her own lens, and I think that's really interesting, especially as an immigrant myself, and seeing how she navigates that and navigates her relationships. Something that I'm actually really interested in reading. The next one I have is The Sun is Also a Star, and it's about a Jamaican girl who loves science. She meets like a Korean American like poet, and they fall in love in New York City or whatever, and they go through different things. And it's also like immigration related because the Jamaican girl who's living in New York City is facing deportation. Another book is The Hunger Games. I'm actually really interested. I have never watched the show and I've never read the books. I've only recently gained interest in The Hunger Games because I saw one page of it and how the prose is and how the sentence structure is. I'm actually interested in the story too. Like, I love me a good baddie who's on survival mode, who's about to just slay in every way. This one is like top on my list. It's called East of Eden, and it's kind of like a retelling of Adam and Eve's story and their family, but this family is set in California, and they go through different life circumstances and hardships and stuff like that, and in the story we read how they navigate that. And I heard a lot of good things about John Steinbeck, so I'm really interested in getting this. Then I have Babel from R.F. Kuang. I'm actually interested in reading so many of her books. Babel, the Poppy War series, they're like historical literary fiction books. Like, I love me good lit fic. Like, yeah, I think my favorite genres would be literary fiction. I like romance, but I'm kind of like, in the past I probably was full on rom, but now I'm just like I'm kind of straying away from that, wanting something a little bit more. But I still love to read romance though. Like, sometimes a romance is like just what you need to get through sometimes. The Babel it's just about a lot of political, colonial and like capitalistic type of book. So those are like the themes of the book. Like I'm not really sure about what it's about, to be honest, but I do know that those are some of the themes, and I'm interested in how that goes out. One thing about me is sometimes I just read books for the vibes. Sometimes I am just like, one little aspect of the book like interests me and I'm like, I really want to read that. Like there's this author in this list called Sue Monk Kidd, and I have never heard of her. I've never seen a review online, written, video, none of that about her. But for some reason, I'm just so drawn and so obsessed with her. And I've never read anything that she's ever written. And so like, I'm like, I need to get all of her books, and I don't even know if I would actually like her books, but I feel confident that I would. The book that I actually like really want to read is called The Book of Longings. It's like a really interesting book. It's kind of like a Christian historical fiction book. It's about a woman. She wants to write, that's her dream, and she meets this young carpenter in Nazareth, and through the book we see her journey of love and passion and pursuit and all these different things, and female empowerment. I love me some good female empowerment. All the books that she have ever written, I think I want to read, like literally. She also have a specific book called Writing, Creativity and Soul, and I think that's about her process in terms of writing. And after I'm finished with my first draft, I actually really want to read that book as well. I don't know why I have so much faith in her, but I do. Another book that I want to read is The Second Death of Locke. And I saw a girl on TikTok. Now, I don't usually go on TikTok to look for book reviews and see what I want to read and what I don't want to read. But this is a creator that I like her content. And so she was raving about this book, and I was like, I'll give it a shot. I don't think this is high on my list, but it is a book that I'm interested in. Then we have The Light We Lost, and it's like a second chance romance type of vibe. And as you know, like I'm currently writing a second chance romance novel that's like Christian based, but it's not exactly what you think it would be. And so while I was doing research on books that are almost similar, I've never read a book that's similar to what I'm writing, but in research of like finding books with like similar themes, this is one of the books that came up, The Light We Lost by Jill Santopolo. So I'm actually interested in reading that to see where like we intersect. And then we have So You Don't Want to Go to Church, and this is by Wayne Jacobson and Dave Coleman, and it's about this man who ends up meeting this guy who he think is one of the original disciples. That's all we get in the synopsis. I don't really know like what was the plot or what it actually about, like who's this guy. But then we have a few books from Anne Ling. I'm trying to diversify the authors and the people that I read about, because being young in the Bahamas and like reading a lot of books back in those days, I say those days, but I'm actually referring to days like 5 years ago and back. I've mainly read books from Caucasian authors about Caucasian characters. Like I rarely read books that involved like people of color or people in the minority. Like, so I really want to do that next year, really diversify the types of people and the types of authors work that I consume. And so Anne Ling, she's a Chinese writer, and I actually follow her on TikTok, and she have a few books. Never Thought I'd End Up Here, If You Could See the Sun, This Time It's Real, and I Hope This Doesn't Find You. And I'm interested in reading all of those books. The next book that I'm interested in reading is The Unsuspected Heroes by Alex Marcoux, and it's about an autistic girl who has like these abilities. I love reading about characters who are like peculiar, like autistic, ADHD, like OCD, neurodivergent, like a little peculiar, not like the normal type of characters. I like to read that. So I don't really know exactly what this is about but I know it might be good, and it has good ratings on Amazon and on Goodreads. Is a 4.7 stars. Everything We Never Knew, and it's about a woman who discovers that she have kind of like supernatural powers, kind of ish. She could feel other people's emotions and not like empathy type of vibe. Like she can legit feel their emotions and even like get access to like their private memories and stuff like that. This is Alchemized by Sinlin Yu. I've heard good things about this. It's a fantasy book. I don't really read fantasy books like that, and I'm trying to get into it, but I haven't really found a book that like made me eager to pursue this task, but hopefully I do soon, especially since Stephanie Garber's Once Upon a Broken Heart series is on this list, and I'm actually really interested in that. I love like stories that have like fairy tale elements. That's why Shrek is one of my favorite movies. Like that's one of my favorite series ever. Then we have KX Song. I follow her on Instagram. I follow her on TikTok. She have like a duology called The Night Ends with Fire and The Dragon Wakes with Thunder. And I don't know, I feel like this is such a fire book. This is also fantasy, and it's a retelling, I believe this is a retelling of the Mulan story, Amara, and it's about this black Japanese girl who is like the first black samurai in Japan, and we just learn about her story and how she faces like oppression and just fights her way through life in Japan in like the 16th century. Okay, so the next book that I have is called The Yellow Wife, and it's about a sheltered enslaved woman who ends up going into like this horrible jail, and she has to be smart, use her wit and her good skills to try to get out of the jail and also protect the people that she loves. And like I tell you, I love me a female baddie. Like I love me a female body. Another book that I actually really want to read is called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, which tells like the difference between the two, especially like in the balance of marriage and relationship. That was a book club that I wasn't a part of, but I heard of that read this book, and they had a lot of nice like insight from it, so I'm interested in reading that. There's also Scattered Minds from Gabriel Mate that does kind of like a deep dive on like persons with ADHD and how to get through it, like providing some systems on how to get through that, which I think is interesting too. Now I'm gonna quickly list some of the other books that I am keen on reading, but it's not that like high on the list. We have Uprooted by Naomi Novik, 2 Weeks of Summer by Catherine Tirado Ryan, One Look by Sierra Solange. She's a black Christian author. We have The Other Side of Now from Paige Harbinson, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. If you know, you know. You probably don't know, and I probably don't know either. But I read some of the reviews on Amazon and Goodreads, but mostly on Amazon. Saw some good things, and I was like, just C.S. Lewis, Surprised by Joy. Yeah, that's basically me, y'all. I do have like a lot of books in here that I haven't mentioned, but it's because like I'm kind of second guessing if I want them to be on my list or not, so I haven't mentioned them. But that's me and that's tea. Anyways, and Kai. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and do all of that good junk. You know what I mean, or not? It don't really matter. But see you tomorrow. Bye.